we had a bet going the other day, and it was, I forgot exactly what it was. I was like, but for every time you do that, you were going to have to change a diaper because his dad never changed diapers. He's never changing a diaper. And I'm like, why would I fight this fight right now? That is...
Leah Pruett joining us here in the Freak Nation. 21 years of doing this thing. Crash Gladys, Statman, Kenny Sargent. Thank you guys for being a part of this. And the press release came out today, Leah Pruett, that help me out here. Cookie Pop Top, is that your sponsor, of course, for this weekend in Kansas? And frankly, I've got a 7-year-old. Is this something a 7-year-old would enjoy?
I think a 7-year-old and a 70-year-old will definitely enjoy. So yes, we did just announce today that upcoming in Topeka, we will be having the primary partnership with Cookie Pop, which is an Oreo brand. And it basically is Oreo and popcorn together into one delicious snack treat in these small packages. If your kids going to school, you take with you to work, you give them to the crew guys in between sessions. And right now, you get them at Menards is the partner that we have through Cookie Pop and leading people to go and get them through the Menards stores.
But where else? I mean, we West Coast people are raising our hand going, hold on, we want some Cookie Pop too. Can we at least get them on the website?
You can, and I believe also online with Amazon. But what I'm going to do is give later in today or tomorrow a different link, hopefully so people can find where to get them on the West Coast specifically if you don't have a local Menards. So that'll be coming in the next couple days.
Well, this leads me, first of all, I'll take it as an insult. You think I'm 70 by now, Leah, but I'm not 70 yet. All right?
17.
27, 37, 47, it all works.
Which leads me to this. Now that I think about it, some of my favorite sweet combinations as a kid were just combining stuff that mom and dad had in the refrigerator. When you go rob the refrigerator and no one's looking, smoke's not looking, or your crew's not looking, what's your favorite treat outside of this new sponsorship? Do you combine like Oreos and peanut butter or popcorn and cherry soda?
So I particularly don't have a very big sweet tooth. I have a very big hot and spicy tooth and like bold flavors. So if I'm going to grab anything from the refrigerator, it's probably going to be a bean and cheese burrito because there's stacks of them from a local Kuka's store from my hometown. But in regards to sweets, like I'm pretty particular about it just because I know the more that you eat them, the more that you want them and the more that you crave them. And then you have to have them every day.
And they're a perfect victory lane treat because like you said, you got to keep on top of your nutrition and on your fitness during the race day. But come victory lane, use your cheat meal to the extension at that point. So Cookie Pops for everyone. Plus it's motivation for the guys, I would have to admit.
Exactly. And quick and fast. And then you put them in their lockers, have them out in the buffet area.
With you and Smoke sharing the same refrigerator, would his go-to be a sweet or would it be a burrito?
Sushi is what his go-to is because the thing about it is we're not home long enough. So for those that watched Smoke's interview, had the same background because it's from the same place. You need to get a real office set up in the other room. But we're not here long enough to like do full-on grocery shopping and cook meals every night. And so he likes the sushi that's made at the grocery stores. I like burritos. If he's going to pop in, he's going to get a Coke. And sweets is he hasn't really been on them at all, except for if you guys really, really want to get on his good side, show up with a box of Nilla wafers. That's his deal. And he hasn't had a chance to have any Cookie Pops yet, just because we've been on the West Coast recently. But I'm pretty sure that his taste tune will change. But this also I think the first race will be that he's not attending of mine this upcoming weekend. He's got NASCAR in Indy and there's Knoxville during the week. So this is it's a pretty new week in a lot of different ways for us.
Okay, so basically then because all race car drivers have superstitions, you've already had your win for this year, your first win, I should say, for this year. So if you win again in Topeka, which we are hoping that you will, it's not like it's going to be a superstitious thing of, Tony's got to stay away for all the races now, because you've already got that taken care of. So yay for that.
Appreciate that. And we would joke, we're like, Tony, I promise, like we do win. I mean, back in 2017 and 18, we were winning 5-7 races and constantly in the finals, and had a very well-oiled machine. And, we have had some struggles in the last year and a half, and that's where Tony's been in play. So going to the events, he did say, I mean, he has had the most fun that he's ever had racing in the last 2 weekends from Sonoma and Pomona with us. I said, well, of course, because we're winning. But he does play a part mixing fuel, working with Scott on the car and the team. And I'm like, see, Nitro is very addicting. I get he doesn't have to say it. You can just read it on his face. But it's been a very enjoyable experience, and to be through the kind of the lows that we've had in the recent months and our struggles, he's been a very strong supporter in that. My team has maintained great fundamentals of morale and just the work and the parts and like the relentlessness. And it's been really awesome to show kind of what the true heartbeat of my team is like in front of Tony, with him, and then finally grab a Wally, and for him to be there was really cool.
Well, that's where I was going to go with you regarding Topeka. Who's going to handle your fuel? How is this going to maybe upset the camaraderie that you've really developed over the last couple of races?
Honestly, I'm going to kick it into the highest gear that I've been in 2018. So we are running both factory stock showdown and top fuel in Topeka. And since Tony's been a part of the program and the team, he's handled fuel, and especially when I'm running both cars. But my team is very, very capable, and we will definitely get it done. But it's like, so how does that interrupt, or right? How does that change the team? Well, if one person is attending to fuel, and that's going to take 30, 40 minutes per rotation session, you take that one person that was helping you and you remove them. That's one crew guy that needs to now attend to fuel, which is going to take 30 minutes away from helping, like say with Tim in the supercharger program, or if we have an issue and we need to swap blocks, or if we need to make a decision, that one person is now fragmented back into the fuel sector. So it's more of a diligent job, and more mechanical. And once you learn how to do it, so for us, we'll just be kind of reorganizing and shifting and getting it done like we had done before. And definitely very confident that wins are around the corner, but I've never had a win in factory stock and top fuel on the same day. So in the last 3 races, we went to the final in factory stock in Denver, went to the final in fuel, and then finally got the win. So in 2 different categories in 3 weekends, we've been in the finals. It is time to show out in Topeka and grab a doubleheader win. That would be, doesn't really get much bigger than that, than a championship for me.
Leah Pruett joining us here, Speed Freaks, Sunday nights, heck, every day now. Thanks to COVID, we've got videos everywhere. But explain, we've had a conversation, whether it was Ron Capps or ARCA driver Corey Heim or IndyCar driver Marcus Ericsson. We've had this nutrition conversation a lot recently, probably because it's been so freaking hot around the country in every form of motorsports, in every sport. NFL training camps. But explain then just how difficult it is, not just to drive one car all the way to the finals in NHRA, but 2. You bouncing back and forth, plus your mental mindset along the way. It's just, explain to people how you balance all of that.
It's definitely trial by error and finding out what your body needs. And the most consistent thing across the board is hydration. And I know everybody talks about it, and it just goes in through one ear and out the other because people get sick at the track. But for me, it's about days in advance preparation. Before Denver, I had actually, not afraid to admit it, I was like, what is the best way for me to prepare for this double hitter in Denver and not get altitude sickness? So I went and I had a hydration IV on Tuesday on my way to the airport, just to give my body as much nutrients and B12 and all of the things that I could get. So taking care of your body, your sleep as we get older. I used to have that go in my ear and out the other. I wear the Oura Ring to be able to track my sleep and my patterns. And, I've gone through some different health situations that have changed my diet. Hashimoto's disease is what I actually just got diagnosed with. And there's a lot of different things that you do that change your diet, from gluten-free to all these things that you didn't really know that you needed to do before. And ultimately, we still have to perform like we are world champion athletes, and we are. So it's no different. getting your hydration, eating well, getting your sleep. And as I've gotten older, I found out that that's what my body needs. So welcome to the old club.
This is good stuff to hear because this is reality. So, I mean, health is just of utmost priority. Have you ever considered doing something like this? Would be a borrowed idea from, let's say, NASCAR, and Tony Stewart was a big proponent of this. He was one of the first actually in NASCAR, getting yourself in a hyperbaric chamber after race weekend to just kind of flush out the system.
I have. So actually in the house in Indiana, in Tony's home, the hyperbaric chamber is at the foot of the bed.
Oh.
Very convenient spot if you're going to use it. He doesn't use it because he's claustrophobic, and so I have used it a couple of times, specifically after I had my crash in St. Louis last year and the concussion and needing to get relief as quick as possible because we were in the countdown. And then when I broke my foot this last December, to expedite the healing process, I used it. But in regards to just decompressing after a particular weekend, I have not, but I would like to some more. The key is that there has to be somebody there on the outside to program it and get you going. And I haven't really been able to corral Tony long enough to go like, teach me how to do this by myself. But I would like to spend a lot more time because oxygen flow and our brains are like superchargers. The more oxygen, the better that they operate. And I'm really delving more into science and like-minded type of base situations that help our body the best that they can be. Now, I'm not saying that's going to make or break an absolute difference of a 40 and a 50 light or a 50 and a 60 light, but it is going to make it so that you can maintain throughout the entire day and not have what I would call on Monday, and it has nothing to do with alcohol, but the racing hangover of you've had 3-4 super hard days, 14, 15 hours, performing, fans, media, all the things. And then come Monday, you're just wiped out. And we're tired of that. So I think the better you maintain throughout the weekends, then the less racing hangover you have, and you can get back to regular work on Monday and keep going.
And go wakeboarding.
Leah Pruett joining us here in the Freak Nation. Tony Stewart and hyperbaric chambers, no. Vanilla wafers, yes. That's more Tony Stewart to me, Pruett.
Well, yes, that would be for him. Mine would be wake surfing and cookie pops followed up by a sparkling ice spiked. And that sounds like a pretty good Monday to me.
Yes.
Taking care of your car is a responsibility. It ensures the long life of your car and its expensive components. That's why Lucas Oil takes automotive protection so seriously. Lucas heavy-duty oil stabilizer bonds with motor oil to shield engines from heat and wear. So take pride in caring for your car and pass that pride and knowledge to the next generation for years of smooth, reliable driving on the long road ahead. Trust Lucas Oil. It works.
Crasher and I know a little bit about dating and then marrying and having children. When it comes to dealing with the media, we are considered the media and in some people's eyes, personalities. So it can be difficult. Has there been discussions between you and Smoke on how to better deal with the situation of two high-profile motorsports athletes better now that you guys are a couple and scheduled to get married and everything that comes with that?
I don't think that we've addressed it particularly to that question. I think that there have been situations, natural situations that have flown throughout our relationship that we address individually. For instance, would be when he would first come to the races last year and we're wearing masks and nobody knew we were really dating. We kept that on the low for a while. And then at the races, nobody could tell who he was. And so he didn't have to deal with any of that from fans to media until the U.S. Nationals basically in September. But moving on to a different scenario, when Tony started to go to Frank Hully's school and really have larger interest in understanding the discipline of drag racing and what is this top fuel car really about from a driver's perspective, and started testing with my car, that is when we spoke very much in depth about the media, to where it's a different situation. what we do, we appreciate both of you. We appreciate the media as an industry, the fans. It's what we thrive and we need to be able to perpetuate our careers and our partners. But when Tony was testing, it was the exact opposite. We wanted to be in control of the narrative because that's all that we had. You know, people automatically would assume he's going to go get he's licensing, and then he's going to go drive for Don, or he's going to build a team, or like all these crazy things. And when really it was, we have to cap it for what it is, of him getting in the car, wanting to experience it, and relate closer to myself and the team in a whole different motorsports perspective. So from a media perspective, we did talk about that. I mean, I'm calling the Las Vegas track, and I've heard about reporters being there when he was running my car, and I'm trying to coordinate security and downplay, and we put off NHRA interviews. We put off Drag Race Illustrated action for weeks and weeks because people wanted to make something out of something that was really, for us, there wasn't a particular plan. So outside of that, I think we roll really naturally with the media. We're very complimentary to each other. People like the idea that we're together. They can get information from him. I went to Nashville NASCAR with him. I've been to dozens of sprint car races with him, and there is quite a bit of crossover fan and some crossover media and opportunities. And I think because we just have such a high respect for media and in the industry that it doesn't bother us. And we sometimes do stuff together. I mean, I was doing a Zoom the other day, and he was making faces behind the camera, and I was like, "You gonna make some faces? Okay." And I drug him on over, and I was like, "You're gonna sit down right here with me."
Yes.
When everybody can see the faces, we just have fun with it. So I'm not sure if that's exactly what you meant, but we haven't changed. We personally haven't changed the way that we do things. We've just been able to. And what he likes to say is like 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. 1 + 1 = 3 with us. And what we make of that is we'll see.
Okay.
Kenny, I knew
What?
he was gonna. I knew you were gonna go there.
Tony went there first. Leah, did Tony? Have you seen the interview that Tony did with us that got crazy hype? Did you see the things he talked
Crazy
about?
what?
Hype.
Oh,
Hype.
No, I think I was in the bedroom, and I think he was sitting right here, right?
Yeah.
So no,
I'm going to play this and take it as it again. Take it as you will, Leah. We've known each other a long damn time. Tony Stewart talking about a family with Leah Pruett. You cut the umbilical cord of your baby.
Absolutely not. So
That's exactly what Kenny said. Kenny, that's what you said too, and then you did.
wait, listen, you know me, I'm a thinker, I'm a planner, I strategize about things. I have a plan. I've got a small cooler. I will be in the lobby watching Sports Center. I'll have beverages, I'll have snacks. And after that kid comes out, they can cut the cord, they can run it through the little car wash thing, clean it off, polish it up. When it's done, I'll come in, spend as much time as we can. But I am not going to be in there before that, or they will have to have 2 beds because I'll pass out on the floor.
I think he just likes to hear himself say those things.
Yes. Yep.
It sounds actually that I've heard him say all of those lines together before, whether we're at restaurants with friends or on the boat, or if we're fortunate enough to have a family someday and he's able to stick to that program, I'll be very impressed. Either way, though, I mean, he is definitely a man of his word and of high integrity. And if he doesn't want to be in there, what was it? We had a bet going the other day, and it was, I forgot exactly what it was. I was like, but for every time you do that, you were going to have to change a diaper because his dad never changed diapers. He's never changing a diaper. And I'm like, why would I fight this fight right now? That is years on down the road. That's what's called worrying, and we don't need to do that. I think someday he'd be an incredible father because he's a 14-year-old person right now. and someday they'd be in motorsports. But I have to say this for people that are thinking this is happening now.
Yeah, right. No.
We have a lot to accomplish within motorsports and in careers, and I hope to someday, if I have kids, and be able to come back. So that would be somewhat of a plan. But for now, kind of back into the racing world where we're 4th in points. We have the 3 races left with the countdown, and so positioning ourselves into a place where we can attack onto the CapCo boys would be great.
Seriously, what's it going to take? Those guys are they're lethal.
They are. They're incredible, but they did not have the best couple of past weekends. But I have heard some things to the paddock of maybe why and things that they're trying. So when they're getting ready for the countdown, as are we. But you can't take away. They have a strong group of men. Part of our challenges in the past year, and we talked about this earlier, Kenny, was in 2020 we didn't have a full season, and for us we had a lot of turnover with crew members and replacing with years of a little bit less years experience, and so our core members really needed to work harder to get new guys on track. And we didn't have a structure of like 8 years of like this strong warrior team. We are having to build that right now off of the core that we had. And so that takes time and takes races. And that's where we're at. So we're finally seeing the product of that. And you compare to a very respectable team like Steve Torrance that have had that for 8 years and such, and just run. And that's okay. We'll be running right there after them, just like everybody else in the top fuel category, trying to get them down, which is a great thing to have, a great rivalry. It's like, it's all motors, it's all performance based. He's lethal, but Antron Brown, our DSR teammate, did take him out in the first round this past weekend. I think it was the first. Yep. And that just, what that does, it just shoots this aura throughout the pit area that this could happen. This is now everyone else's day, because we woke up thinking it's our day, and then something like that happens, and you go, well, we feel like we're on a run, and we are on a run, and then we end up taking that Wally home like we did on Sunday, and it takes every bit of the hard work and also good luck, and feel great about the weekend.
Leah, how has your relationship changed with Don Schumacher from the point of you signing with him to where you are now?
That's a great question. He is maintained to be a very strong figure and a very large supporter of whatever it takes to win. And by win, not just races, but championships. My relationship with Don actually began in 2008 when Gary Scelzi was looking to retire, and Don and Dodge and Oakley at the time were looking to have somebody come in after Gary Scelzi, and that's where I came into conversation and got to run in Gary's car at preseason testing or pre-Indy testing 2009. It has changed for the better because we understand each other in ways that we didn't before. For instance, he didn't really like my flat bills in 2016 when I came in. I should probably wear, a little bit more lace or some, you have a female driver, so maybe you want a more female looking presentation. And so we just had very rare, real candid conversations of, well, not everybody looks alike. And this is me, this is who you hired, which was also Papa John's coming on board, and Fire Raid, which I had partnership with, that was what brought me to Don Schumacher in 2016. He brought Mopar over. But that is what I think one of the strongest things about our relationship is social media wasn't a very huge factor for analysis with partners in 2016, 2017, but that was a direction that I was already on and heavily influencing and caring about the Schumacher brand, my brand as a driver, because it doesn't matter how partners come in, whether they love hospitality, they love the customer and fan engagement, or they like branding on the car, or if it's sweet stuff, or if it's TV exposure, or if it's social exposure that happens through all the different channels. Like there's the earned media value somewhere along the way. And so I really had a head start on education in social media, and it took a little while, till 2018 or 2019 for him to realize, all right, the value that's there and why other DSR drivers need to invest in themselves for things to get going. I mean, I have my own employee that helps me with social during the races. I hire photographers outside of DSR. I spend a True Speed Communications, which is a PR firm that Tony Stewart owns, that I'm a client of theirs, and pay them to help me manage the partners that I have. And then DSR does a great job managing the partners that they have, and they all work together. But to think that it is a one-person band is not realistic. And so to go back to the conversation between Don and I've learned how true professional race teams are ran, from DSM to DSR. And I think what he's learned from me is, the value of social media and how everybody could work together. Because at the end of the day, for us, it's about winning races and making sure that our brands and our partners are satisfied with their buy, because our competition is the TV, linear, and traditional media buy. So that's kind of the world I live in when I'm not at the racetrack.
Good for you for sticking to your guns and being yourself. Thank you. That's very cool.
Could you see Chuck Etchels and John Force? I go back in the day, those old funny car guys on Twitter, trying to figure that out back in the 70s. Well, John's not doing crap.
He's not.
He's got his people. But could you imagine those guys trying to figure out Twitter, Leah? That'd be so badass.
That would be incredible. I would actually probably spend more time on Twitter if they were on there back in that day. I mean, the non-filterness that they have and the entertainment value, and I think that's what's so great is everyone brings their own slice of personality, and you could see the ones that try and be someone else or get influenced by. And just the more that you stay in your lane and stick to it and authentic, and that's why John is he's such an iconic person, just personality, as we all know in our sport. So
imagine Connie Coletta on Twitter. Oh my God.
The story times. I mean, I don't know Connie very well, but I'm from other drivers that work with him and crew members, and just a heart of drag race gold. And those are different eras that we all live in. I can see that.
Who would you want to be in your circle? Leah Pruett is doing an interview with drag racing royalty. Who would you want to be in that circle to get the best stories from?
To get the best stories from? Goodness, wow. Okay, well, I would definitely pick. I'd keep Tony Stewart in that story or in that circle, just from a new perspective.
I like it.
From the outside looking in, I would like to keep John Force. I think Jim Head, actually. Not a lot of people hear from him, and he will keep it probably very real and give you some stories. I would love to have some quality time with Don Schumacher in that own element, kind of away from media and away from and just hear some stories. And I'd like to bring Steve Pfluger back, the late Steve Pfluger, because you don't know if he was looking at a fan, I'll just say that, or if he was looking at the race car. I have some of my own stories from racing with them that I'd like to hear back.
Yeah, you're right. The poor guy, he's left us, but I'd hate to tell stories about him without him in the same damn room, because he's got plenty of them. Old Pfluger does.
That, and I don't know if I'd really include Don Prudhomme the Snake in there, because I don't want his stories to outweigh someone else's stories, and we're pretty good friends. He's actually officiating Tony and our wedding, and so I wouldn't want. We could have our regular sit down with them on a normal time. So,
say that again. Who's officiating your wedding with Smoke?
Don Prudhomme. Don, the Snake, as some people might know him. Prudhomme.
Wow,
that's perfect. That's perfect.
Is that breaking news? Did we know about that?
No. It might have. Well, we say so much stuff when we're out and about, so we just kind of forget what goes where. But no, I don't think it's secret by any means. But Don the Snake was a very pivotal portion of Tony and I meeting each other and going on our first date. And he really just, Prudhomme kind of played matchmaker when they were off on a boys' trip, close to, not Glamis, but down with Pratt racing off-road vehicles. And Prudhomme would FaceTime me. I'm in like Indy. It's freezing ass cold. And then we're just talking all the time. And then Tony would pop in there on the FaceTime. And then finally, then Tony asked Prudhomme for my number if he could talk to me. And so like Don's like acting like as my dad, like, Leah, I don't know. I mean, I like the guy. I think I could give him your number. Are you okay with that? And it just rolled from there.
That's
Boom,
so badass.
love it.
If we could have planned it.
Yeah, right.
We've been big fans of yours for many years, Leah. We really appreciate what you're doing and how you're doing it, man. It's awfully badass.
Oh, thank you. And Kenny, I mean, all the way back now, it's not 70 years ago, but it's probably 17 years ago when we were running together in the boat series. So
Right.
I appreciate that. And Crash, always great seeing you, and appreciate all the fans that are watching. For those of you that want to follow, if you're not already, on NHRA.tv for the Topeka race, be having all the updates and factory stock and the Top Fuel car, the Cookie Pop car on Instagram. That's Leah.Pruett, and of course at Shoe Racing.
Bam.
Perfect.
Leah, go slap the old man for me, please. Just say that's from Kenny, not from Crash.
Yeah, no.
We'll have to do it together. He's actually at Stewart-Haas today, right now. He flew out to Charlotte last night or yesterday. So for all the fans that try and give crap NASCAR of how they're doing, it's wild, because it's like they think that if Tony's at the track, which in 2020 nobody was allowed to be at the track, not even owners, because of COVID. So physically you're not there, but that doesn't mean, and I have my Bible in there, I can put my hand on that, the amount of phone calls and time on this couch and on the computer for 12 hours a day managing the properties and entities and teams that he has that nobody sees. Like, that's what builds frustration with us. And you're never going to win against the fight to something like that. But internally for me, is like someone that's with Tony every single day and what he goes through. And just because you're physically not there at the track doesn't mean, because he's like, what am I going to do with the track? What am I going to do to that car that didn't get practice at the track? Besides, like, during the week talking to my drivers, that's where things happen, and that's where things get worked on. So anyway, not to be off on that rant, but a lot of work gets done on the computer, on the phone, when the racing, just for the racing to happen on the weekends.
It's why you hire people.
Hey, then I'll leave you with this, Leah. We have a bet. If he does not cut the
we'll be
umbilical,
back to this again.
If he doesn't cut the umbilical cord, I've got to go through, where is it, Crasher?
St. Elmo's.
St. Elmo's, wearing a thong, and
Indy.
Tony's going to be there taping it. Or if he is in the room for cutting the umbilical cord, you're going to have 3 speed freaks gassed there at your abode and have a
The cheering section.
No. Post-birth.
No,
We'll change
post-birth.
diapers.
We're gonna be.
I'm just like, if you're on this side in the room.
Yeah, no.
Oh, no, I mean him. If he
Yes.
that fight's down the road, but if he wants to run it through a car wash or whatever, I don't know. Hopefully get the wax on it so nice and shiny.
I'm telling you, this guy right here, he swore he would not cut the umbilical cord. He swore he wouldn't be in the room. Guess what happened? He was in the room with a still camera and a video camera. He was heads up. He was up by me, but yeah, guys will change their mind. They're softies. They just don't want you to know it.
I feel like Tony. No, here's the real reason that he doesn't want to cut the umbilical cord, is because he is so detail orientated in things that he does. It's astonishing. It's outstanding. It takes a lot of whatever it might be, but he makes sure, like, if we're wiping down the boat after a day of wake surfing with pro wake, and like, all right, just trying to get the water spots off. No, I mean, he's up there with the VP misters and the whole thing, and like a toothbrush, like getting it right. So maybe we don't want him cutting the umbilical cord. So like this way, that I'm left-handed. Where are the left-handed scissors? Where are they? Like. Maybe he knows better than we do.
Well, you can practice. You can practice on asparagus because that's what it kind of feels like. Yeah, like slightly cooked asparagus. Click. Like, come on.
I don't know.
Penny, that requires cooking. So.
Oh. All right, Leah. Enough already. Thank you as always.
Yes.
Good luck to you this weekend in Kansas, sweetheart.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you,
All right.
Chris. Everybody.
Bye.
Take care.